In November 2006, Hollywood pressed its face against the glass of a 15th-century Italian castle. Tom Cruise and Katie Holmes, Tomcat, were married just after sunset. Fireworks blooming over Lake Bracciano. It looked like a fairy tale from far away. Up close, the story is more complicated. A whirlwind romance, a tightly run religion, and a meticulously executed exit that stunned the industry. Tonight, we're unpacking what's known, on the record, about how Scientology intersected with their marriage, why the divorce moved at lightning speed in 2012, and what Katie has and hasn't said since.
The public love story ignited in 2005, fed by wall-to-wall media coverage. Within a year, the couple were engaged, and their daughter Suri was born in April 2006. The wedding landed in Italy on November 18, 2006, lavish, choreographed, and instantly iconic. But the fairy tale setting masked a less public, more complicated factor that would later shadow every headline: Scientology, the church with which Cruise is publicly aligned. From the start, Scientology sat at the center of the narrative, sometimes whispered, sometimes splashed across covers. Investigative reporting later detailed the church's deep involvement in Cruise's personal life well before Holmes, alleging elaborate efforts to vet or audition partners and to keep Cruise tightly connected to the organization's leader. While the church disputes various characterizations, multiple high-profile reports and sources outline its influence on relationships around Cruise, including the period leading up to and within the Holmes marriage.
Katie Holmes herself has rarely offered a tell-all about the marriage or the church. To this day, much of what's known comes from credible investigative journalism and, critically, from legal records. On June 28, 2012, Holmes filed for divorce in New York. The move reportedly caught Cruise while he was abroad on a shoot. What happened next became the stuff of Hollywood strategy lore. Within roughly 11 days, the couple announced a settlement. The speed was jaw-dropping by celebrity standards, and it worked. The terms were private, but the outcome was clear. Holmes had primary custody of Suri, and the public drama fizzled almost as fast as it ignited.
Why New York? Lawyers point out that New York courts give judges broad discretion around custody and are not a 50-50 community property regime, factors that can influence strategy when parenting philosophies diverge. It's not confirmation of any one motive, but it's context that matters. A year after the divorce, a separate legal battle opened a window. Cruise sued Bauer Publishing for defamation over headlines claiming he abandoned Suri. During a 2013 deposition in that case, attorneys pressed him about whether Holmes left to protect Suri from Scientology. His answer mattered because it was sworn testimony. He called the premise offensive, then acknowledged that was one of the assertions. The suit later settled, terms remained confidential, but that single exchange became one of the few on-the-record links between Scientology and the split.
It was also in this deposition that we learned Suri does not practice Scientology, another rare, direct insight into post-divorce family life. Again, that detail came from sworn testimony, not tabloid chatter. For years, the internet recycled claims that Holmes signed an ironclad agreement preventing her from speaking about Cruise or the church and even limiting public dating for a set period. Some of that chatter aligned loosely with what appeared to happen, but remember, the settlement terms were private, and much of what's online traces back to secondary outlets or speculation, not court records. Treat those claims as unverified unless they're in sworn filings or reliable named source reporting.
After 2012, Katie Holmes rewired her life largely in New York. Across interviews, she kept the focus on work, craft, and motherhood, rarely touching the Cruise years directly. In 2024, she gave a steady, grounded interview to Town & Country, speaking with pride about Suri heading to college and about creating an intentional life under celebrity glare. She protected her daughter's privacy and kept the day-to-day normal. That was not gossip. That was the point. And when tabloids invented fresh narratives, like a 2024 cycle claiming Suri had suddenly become a millionaire by trust fund,
Holmes pushed back publicly on Instagram, calling it completely false. It was one of the few moments she directly addressed Cruise-adjacent rumor, and it underscored her default mode since 2012. Correct the record when necessary, otherwise stay quiet and move forward.
Most recently, in 2025, mother and daughter were spotted together on the New York set of Holmes's film Happy Hours, a rare public glimpse that felt ordinary by design. No spectacle, no speech, just work and family in the city they chose. At 46, Katie Holmes finally breaks her silence. Here's the truth. As of today, there's no verified sit-down where she dishes on Scientology or dissects the marriage. The most substantive, citable connective tissue between the church and the split remains Tom Cruise's 2013 deposition acknowledgement that protecting Suri from Scientology was one of the assertions. Holmes herself, now 46, has stuck to brief, measured comments, especially about her daughter and about shutting down false reports. That restraint has been consistent for over a decade.